Who should move to Costa Rica? Believe it or not, Costa Rica isn't for everyone. There are a few personality traits that are better suited for relocation here. We asked residents with ranging backgrounds what types of people should move to Costa Rica in hopes of helping you determine if the country is right for you. If you love Costa Rica or want to keep learning about this amazing country, click the subscribe button and be sure to look for the app InCostaRica in your app store.
To move permanently, I think open-minded people. It's easy if they have money as well. And people that love other cultures and that would like to adapt to the culture here and that would like to speak Spanish as well, because in the Central Valley, there's not a lot of people talking English.
I think people who are seeking, I come from, the US, and we are very high-paced, high productivity, but low quality of life, actually, I think, country, or at least that's the life I was living. And I think that the people who are well suited to move to Costa Rica, life is slower paced here. So you have to kind of be ready to relax and be happy with a slower pace. And I actually still don't know how to get mail in this country. So Amazon probably not going to be very accessible, although that's something I still have to explore. So those who are ready to kind of take a step back from the fast-paced life that we're trained to kind of plug ourselves into for our economic systems.
I think you're best suited if you're not too set in your ways. If you're kind of curious about what it's like to live in another country that speaks a different language, if you're kind of have your mind set on learning something new, then I think you'll fit right in. But if you just, well, it's kind of hard to say. If you just want to come and bring your own culture with you, then I suggest you stay home.
People that are not stuck in their ways. If somebody's sitting in the United States or Canada or Europe or whatever, and they have some delusion that they can duplicate everything about the life that they think is good in those places and not deal with any of the bad and get that done in Costa Rica at a cheaper cost, it's not going to happen. Okay, this is a completely different culture. It's a completely different country. So if you're moving to Costa Rica, you are moving to somebody else's country and culture, and the best thing you can do is be rapidly adaptable. The people that don't adapt well, that are like, well, they don't do things like this back home, it's like, well, you're not back home. Okay, so the people that adapt to new situations and changes quickly, they do well here.
The people that are best suited to move to Costa Rica would be, I think that there's so many, right? It could be a person that's interested in starting their own business. Costa Rica is pretty open to foreigners coming in here and starting up an enterprise. So entrepreneurs, I think, are a great group. Anybody that can work remotely is a great group too. You can find your own little piece of paradise down here and get yourself set up. And because there's connection down here, right? That's not something that we're lacking. You can definitely find access to internet in your little spot and work. Families are a great group to move down here.
You have to be a bit of a risk taker. I sold everything, picked up, and made an investment in a foreign country that I'd never been to. I only knew the research. I only knew that the government was deregulating and I would have an opportunity in the internet and telecom business. The same goes for anything, whether you want to retire in a foreign country or jobs around the world don't go as planned and you want to try something in Costa Rica because it's beautiful. You have to be a risk taker. You have to be patient.
Well, firstly, people that are open-minded and willing to be part of the culture, because personally, I think that doesn't make sense. Like if you come to a new country and you just like keep on speaking your own language, you know what I mean? I lived it and I experienced it in Germany, and I had to learn from zero everything. So yeah, if you want to be part of the culture, like if you want to be here, than be here, like completely, like in every sense.
I would say people that want to experience what probably North America was like decades ago, a little untapped still. Like for me, again, I got to digress. Like if they're moving to like a city like San Jose or something like that, obviously that's a little different. But the type of person I think that loves nature is able just to get around with the basics. There's not a lot, unless you brought it with you. There's not a lot of accessibility to. I don't want to downplay Costa Rica itself because I love it so much, but there's not a lot of accessibility to first world, quote unquote, products and stuff. So just somebody who has patience, somebody that gets along with people, because you're in a, is tolerant, and is willing to give the local language a chance. Like you want to integrate yourself into the community. You don't want to be mad at the locals because they don't know English when you're in their country.
Well, I would say two types. There are retired ones that have enough income to pay rent, either to pay rent and all the expenses, or people that can actually build a business here.
Well, you have to enjoy the heat, but I would say anybody. I mean, young, old, retired, student, anybody could get here.
I would say people that are flexible and are willing to take things as they come. There's so many things that, now that I've been living here, there are so many aspects of life that you don't expect, because in the United States, things are so readily available. And so there are just so many details where you're trying to figure things out. And as long as you have a sense of humor and a sense of flexibility, then you'll get through it fine. And just a willingness to talk to people. There are so many networks of people, Americans and other people from other cultures that can help you out. And they're like, oh yeah, I remember when I had to do that. And they have all these secret tips for you. So yeah, being flexible and then talking to the people that have been here and figured it out.
Well, in the younger ages, I would say, like myself, and 17 years ago, getting my papers in order before coming for the first time for the possibility of becoming a Costa Rican resident. I had all that ready, I had my paper under my arm. And so for the younger people, it was for finding something new and that you could grow into. That would be the younger generation reason. And then for older, your money goes far. As a retired person, when you have an income, and I don't know what the rules are for how much that has to be to become a resident.
I think anybody that is open for a different culture, but loves, wants a change in their lives, because I think it is a big change, and it makes people more. Maybe more I think it's more heartful here than in other places. You can actually sense that it's very family is very important here. So this is something that changes you a little bit when you come here. You're more focused on family and friends, not only on like making money and, get as much as you can. So that's like a big point. So if you want to make a lot of money, it's not really the place Well, it depends. Of course, you can make a lot of money, but you know what I mean.
I think anybody could move to Costa Rica, but I would think more of like the adventurous people, like people who are just like, all right, the go-getters, let me get up. I want to move to a country. Because that's what I did. I literally was like, I'm just going to move to Costa Rica. Like I planned it, but like it was just not as a long-term plan. It was like, okay, I'm going to pack up all my stuff and move. But like, I would think that anybody could do it. As I said, once you have an open mind, once you are a traveler, once you can deal with challenges, right? Because there are always going to be challenges. I would say anybody could do it. Anybody could do anything.
People looking for something different. People that are in need of healing. Costa Rica is like a magical place for healing. People looking for a drastic lifestyle change. People looking to get out of the rat race, to get away from the 9 to 5.
I would say adventurous people who are not afraid of wildlife, bugs, iguanas, which are present almost everywhere I go. And also people who are patient, people who can go with the flow, as we're used to a very fast pace in America, especially I think on the East Coast. It's a lot slower here. They're not in a rush to get you your food or to get you out of the grocery store, and everybody is truly present and in the moment. So
open-minded, relaxed people who are trying to live off the grid per se, even though there's not a lot of that here, but the country is kind of off the grid, so that kind of puts that into effect. People who are wanting to immerse in nature, people who are trying to expand their consciousness. There's a lot of retreats here, a lot of people here that are into indigenous medicines and stuff like that. So there's a lot of options when it comes to the natural aspects of living your life. That's another reason why I actually came here, was so that I didn't have to be consumed by consumerism. So that is something I think that those types of people would flourish here, or those types of people that are looking to change into that type of living.
Check out the full playlist as we ask residents some of the most common questions about Costa Rica. In the top right corner, there's a live poll to share your opinion with everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and try the InCostaRica app.